Hello again, everybody. Welcome to the Backbone Podcast, where common sense still makes sense in a world that is sick and only getting sicker. And this whole weekend, we've been seeing this footage from Tennessee University, a HBCU, a historical black college, or whatever you want to call it. I doubt there's any sort of learning going on at these places. I think they're all just a waste of money. This is a public school, so that means that the great taxpayers of Tennessee are paying for this madness that you're about to see here. You had these guys from this group called Fearless, and excuse me, they pretty much are trying to do like a Charlie Kirk / Steven Crowder thing, where they set up a table and they put up a sign that says, DEI is wrong and all this bullshit. And they wear their MAGA hats. And of course, what does that do? That gets the natives upset. Right? These people are not, these kids are, they're maniacs. They're out of control maniacs. And a video that I'm going to show you later just goes to prove that there is no reasoning with these folks. There just isn't. They don't want to talk. They don't want to debate. They don't want anything of the sort. They're not of Western civilization. They don't share and hold our ideals or our morals. We're just different, and that's okay. Listen, we're not supposed to live together. This whole bullshit about America being a melting pot, that was propaganda from the 1960s. Same thing with the Judeo-Christian stuff. That's all propaganda. This is a Christian white country, at least it was supposed to be. But here is the video of these kids going absolutely bonkers. And again, these are just, they're just white guys who are they're trying to do a Charlie Kirk. They're trying to reason with these people. They're trying to understand them, and there's no reasoning. There's nothing to understand, and there's nothing to reason with. These are not, forget about high IQ. These are not mid IQ people. They're going to understand what you're trying to say. They don't care. They just want to party and destroy. That's all. And that's fine, as long as they party to destroy their neighborhoods. And I heard somebody say, I think it was on Instagram, that America should just pick a state. White people should just pick a state and just give it to the blacks. I think it was Georgia. There's so many of them down there. Just move every single black person down there and then build a big fucking wall, not even a brick wall, a steel wall with barbed wire all over it, so they can't get out. Just give them the whole damn state and see how long it takes before they start calling for white people. Now let's start the video.
They threw a drink up top.
Oh my gosh, they threw a drink up top.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa.
Did somebody just throw something in our car?
Arrest. They just tried to hit the car. They're still hitting the car. Whoa! That was loud.
This all happened because these knucklehead white guys just set up a table that said DEI on it. And the whole campus went insane. The whole campus went insane. Look at all these kids. Why aren't they in class? Shouldn't they be expanding their minds? Didn't they invent algebra and calculus and geometry? I mean, aren't they Kangs? Scientists, they created everything. They should be learning about what they created. Now, of course, we all know that's nonsense. But again, this was madness that was going on. 33 seconds of it, and it's like my head hurts. The proof is in the chocolate pudding. What else do you need to see? What else do you need to know? How many walls have to fall down on you to realize these people don't like us? They don't want to be around us. They don't want to conform. They don't want to adapt. They just don't. And you know what? Again, that's fine as long as they are away from everything else. As long as they don't come into our neighborhoods. As long as they don't destroy cities. Now, I got this homie over here. This guy is out of his mind. His name is Hotep Jesus. Now Hotep, he's one of these Afrocentric guys. He says that black people were everywhere, that they were the first Native Americans, and they were the first Chinese, and that they were the Romans, and they were this and they were that. They were the first of everything, right? This guy is absolutely out of his mind. And I'm going to show you a clip of what he said on Joe Rogan a few years ago. And Joe Rogan just sat there and listened, which, I don't know if usually Joe Rogan pushes back on stuff. He didn't push back on this guy. I don't know why. But let's listen to this rant. It's about 9 minutes. We're not going to go through the whole thing, but it is kind of funny. Here is Mr. Let me just make sure that I got this. Yes, we do. Okay. Let's just do that. And here's Hotep, the genius.
Do not think like white people. Think with your own fucking common sense. If you violate me, I'll violate you.
So we cannot think like white people. You cannot use common sense. You can't use common sense.
See, white people allow people to step all over them. That's why the red wokes is in the situation they are now. You done let the white liberal step all over you, until the point where now your kids is chopping their dicks off and claiming pronouns, and now you got to go to work and put your pronouns in your signature because you let these white people that's white liberals run all over you. Niggas don't operate like that. We got to fuck around and find out policy, and people keep asking us to act like white people when we need to keep our fuck around and find out policy. That's the shit that protects us from the bullshit. You don't go to the hood and step on somebody's block and not fuck around and find out. That's called protection. You wouldn't do that to the Italian mob. You wouldn't do it to the Irish mob. You wouldn't try that shit with the Jews out there in Brooklyn. They'd have fucked you up out there in Brooklyn. Try that shit in them tunnels in Brooklyn. Them Jews would have ran you the fuck out of there. Try that shit with the Russians over there in Hell's Kitchen and see how fast they don't run you the fuck out of there. No, we don't need pussy culture. Politics in America is not correct, has never been correct. Politics in America has always destroyed the black community. Politics in America has always struck down black men, black women, locked us up, killed us, murdered us, and sent us off to foreign wars to fight wars that ain't our wars. Politics in America is not sweet, it's dirty. So once you start talking that politics shit and you involve black people, shit gotta get dirty. They just clapped Charlie Kirk last week. We can't run somebody off a motherfucking campus. Y'all crazy. We not doing no politically correct shit. Black people, hear me and hear me loud. We not doing no politically correct shit. If people don't go through the direct authorized channels to come on your HBCU campus, you run them the fuck off your campus.
Now, this Tennessee State University, this Hotep moron doesn't realize, is a state school. So it is basically public property. They, according to the guys that organize these things from Fearless or whatever the hell you want to call it, they don't need permission to go on the campus. The blacks don't own the campus. They don't own the school. Like we said, it's a state school, and those guys had the right to be there, and they're protected under the First Amendment to voice their opinions on how they feel. Of course, Hotep doesn't understand this because, as he said before, we're not going to use white people common sense because this is a guy who is mentally disturbed. And he's telling you right to your face, We don't want to be around you. We don't like you. We don't want you. We think you're corny. White politics, republicanism, the thing that spread and was partly responsible for creating Western civilization, the greatest gift God ever gave the earth. It doesn't work, he says. Let's go to Somalia and see how their government works. Let's go to Congo and see how their government works. Maybe the government in Liberia is much more suited for Hotep. Hotep doesn't realize that he's taking advantage of this government that doesn't work. Now, the people in the government suck because we have a lot of his kind. We have a lot of women, a lot of those people from the tribe of funny hats, and a lot of greedy old boomer white guys, rhinos, who just don't give two shits about the American people anymore. That's why we need to get money out of politics, and we need term limits for sure. Let's go back to Hotep.
Tell them go contact the dean. Tell them go contact the principal. Go through the correct channels, because this is dangerous times we're dealing with in 2025. We got people dying. We getting people assassinated. We got people going to war. All types of crazy shit is going out here. We got the timeline with the algorithm trying to divide the country. Do not let no strange white people onto your campus, because 50% of them are fucking lunatic, crazy, trans, terrorists, and some more shit.
So what he's basically saying is that white people are not allowed on black campuses, and I agree. I don't want to see any blacks on white camp. Well, there is no such thing as white campuses, but I wouldn't want to see any blacks on white campuses if I'm paying for it. I don't want to see Hotep. I don't want to see his kind on there. I totally agree. I agree with everything he's saying so far. He wants to be separate. He just wants black only. And I'm with you, brother. Go ahead. Do your thing. Do you. See, the delusion isn't on black people. I mean, they're nuts. I mean, listen, hell is a place where reason doesn't exist, and I'm not going to go to hell. And this guy is in hell. But it's white people who are delusional, because they continue to try and reason and negotiate. And I want to understand you. Fuck all that. There's no more understanding. Where's the understanding? This guy's on a rant here. He's out of his mind. And he believes 100% of everything and what he's saying. And I'm going to show you a video, like I said, of Joe Rogan, where he's.
We know that they got a fucking problem with violence. Don't let them stay on your campus any longer than they got to. Because once they start lingering and they start thinking it's safe, that's when you're going to have problems on your campus. Let them know it is not safe on a black campus for white people that ain't willing to play by our rules. And if you got to get a little wild and a little rambunctious, don't let them tell you that's wrong. That's not wrong. You are a human being, and human beings are violent. And violence is a part of protection. And you must do what you got to do to protect yourselves. The United States of America was built off of violence.
So basically what Hotep is saying is that if you have to protect yourself, you can, with his permission, be violent. So that means that the next time a white person is surrounded by black people, and if that white person has a gun, Hotep is going to come to his defense and say, hey, man, he had to defend himself. He had to use violence. Look at that face. How do white women do it? I don't know.
It was built off protection. It was built off of colonization. And the minute you stand your ground on your campus, they're going to tell you wrong. Don't let them do that shit to you. Do not let them do that shit to you. That shit is not wrong. You stand your ground, you protect yourself, and you kick these white boys off your fucking campus. If they don't want to go through the correct channels, tell them pack their shit up. And if they don't want to pack their shit up, you pack their shit up for them. You want to try that shit? Go try that shit at a primarily white institution. Leave us the fuck alone. Second of all, this political fight in America ain't got shit to do with us. They show up talking about DEI, and DEI only benefited white women. Take that shit to a primarily white institution. You talking about some DEI. DEI ain't got nothing to do with black people. DEI was created for gay people, white women, and trans people. It was not created for black people.
Meanwhile, they're giving out degrees and PhDs to black women who can barely read and write. And they're giving them jobs where they can't perform. And they don't have to perform. They just have to show up and just sit around and do their nails. But DEI was not meant for black people. That's according to Hotep, which is the greatest. It's comical. This is a comedy. This is a comedy show here. And I like the guy with all the raccoons. Jeez.
Black people did not benefit from DEI. Black people don't even get the DEI positions when it comes to directorships. DEI is technically illegal and against the Civil Rights Act. So you take the DEI argument, take that shit to the primarily white campus where that shit fucking belongs. They talking about the other side they have is about illegals. Black people started that fucking argument. Black people started the argument about illegals fucking decades ago because the illegals was coming into our fucking neighborhoods. We started that argument. Black people started that argument. We're the ones that told white people, yo, do something about this immigration.
Oh, now Hotep wants white people to act when it's hurting black people. That's when he wants white people to act. He likes honkies sometimes.
Then Barack Obama exported more people than Trump did.
Exported.
And now you want to come to my college campus and tell me you want to debate about some shit we already been complaining about? How you going to debate me when we fucking agree? That shit is fucking retarded. So you come into the campus just to start shit. So now that I see your intent is not to have civil discourse because you didn't come up with no good topics and you ain't go through the right channels. You got to get the fuck up out of here. Lastly, politics in America right now is between white people, red whites and blue whites. Leave us the fuck out this shit. You want to rock your MAGA hat and do all that bullshit? Go to the fucking primarily white institutions and try that shit over there and see if your ass don't get popped. Leave us the fuck out of this. Y'all keep trying to drag us into your civil war with your white cousins. It's not our fault that your white cousins want to give you vaccines. It's not our fault your white cousins want to make you retarded from Tylenol. It's not our fault your white cousins want to trans your kids. It's not our fault that your white cousins want to have drag queen story hour with your kids. It's not our fault that your white cousins want to have Pablo and them come over here illegally. And they set up all these little sanctuary cities. That's not our fault. It's not our fault you got a Federal Reserve. It's not our fault that the politics in America is fucked up. That's your shit. That's white people shit. Leave us the fuck out of it. Black people, you see these crackers on your motherfucking campus, kick them the fuck off. We're not doing tactful. That's what y'all missing. See, once you start playing this tactful shit, now your kids start getting trans. You can't do tactful with people that violate you.
Are. Man,
you can't do tactful with people that violate your space. Once somebody violates your space, you got to put them motherfuckers on notice. You don't let people just roll up on your stoop. If somebody come to your crib like I want to argue, you like nigga, like I don't even fucking know you. Get the fuck up off my step before I blow you off this motherfucker. These mother.
All right, I've had enough of Hotep, but you see, he's going on a absolute rant, and he's all over the place. But I wanted to show you this video here of Hotep. He's on Joe Rogan. It's going to be a couple of minutes where he makes these outlandish claims, and of course, it's always about blacks being superior since the beginning of time to whites. This is for your viewing pleasure.
Look at real European history. You had the Magyars would believe that if they took a bath, it was bad.
Right.
They didn't even want to change their clothes. They thought that dirty was purity. When we talk about the Moors going into Spain and into Europe, the stories in the history, our history.
The Moors were not black, by the way. The Moors were Arabic from the Levant.
Says that when we met the so-called Caucasian, he was sleeping in the barn with the animals. And we told him, no, you can't sleep in the barn with animals. We taught them etiquette. We taught them running water. We brought that technology to Europe. Now, if we brought the technology to Europe that saved Europe from the Black Plague, you mean to tell me that if we saved the white race, that we weren't already in America already? When we brought the technology, when Rome was dependent on Africa for food, remember when the Black Plague hit Rome, the cause was one of the officials.
The Black Plague, of course, happened in the late to early 1300s 1300s. Rome, technically, the Western Empire had fallen. There was a plague. There was a plague in 160, 165 AD in Rome, but it wasn't anything like the Black Plague. He's mixing up the bubonic plague with there was a smaller incident that happened in Rome back then, but he's getting the bubonic plague mixed up with. He's just all mixed up.
Was stealing the grain that was coming from Africa. So there was famine hit Rome. If your source of sustenance is from Africa, how are you superior?
So the Romans did have large grain supplies coming out of Egypt, and they did have sources that were coming out of sub-Saharan Africa that they subjugated, like gold and silver and fruits and vegetables. But they did that everywhere. The reason why the Romans didn't go and conquer Poland and those northern European countries or Scotland was because they only conquered lands that they could use to feed the empire. So it's just like saying, well, if the United States buys oranges from Chile, are they superior to the Chileans? What does that have to do with anything? The Romans didn't pay the Egyptians for this. They owned Egypt. It was theirs. Africa was their continent. There's a guy named Scipio Africanus that the continent is named after. Hotep, of course, will never admit that.
You're not. You get your food from me. So if you get your food from me, who's more likely to travel this globe? Me, I'm the source of food.
There's been no indication ever that Africans were built anything that was seaworthy. No boats, no rafts. Basically, they had stand up like rafts, almost like flotillas that went up and down the Nile, but nothing that could travel the sea, nothing that could travel the Atlantic or the Indian Ocean. They just didn't. They didn't have the capabilities of doing it. They're just not sophisticated. They weren't sophisticated. They weren't sophisticated enough in the least.
And that's the first thing you need to survive on this planet. So if your whole civilization is depending on me to supply food, I made it to America first. It's just that you won the war. You got to tell the story.
Is that their only source of food? I mean, it's a source of food that Rome had, right? But Rome is also very close to Africa.
Well, let's talk about that. What kinds of food did they have?
Well, I don't know.
It's very rudimentary. It was a very rudimentary civilization. It was.
So the Romans created aqueducts, indoor plumbing, heated water, domes. They basically created the metropolis system that we have here today. But they were rudimentary, according to Hotep. What a nut job. And Joe Rogan is sitting there. Rogan is sitting there like, just listening to this, and it's kind of a shame. It's a shame that Joe didn't. Joe seemed lost. I don't know if Joe just didn't buy it or what, but my whole theory is this. After listening to this whole thing, and Hotep has a point with the whole white, blue, white, red thing. But when it comes to black people, and he wants white people to leave them alone, look, we tried. White people, Europeans, we tried. It didn't work out. And like Lindsey Buckingham wrote, the great Fleetwood Mac song, I think it's time that we go our own way. I think it's time to really consider just not dealing with these people anymore. Like give them their own state. Give them Georgia. You can't give them Texas or California because there's natural resources there that they wouldn't be able to cultivate. But give them Georgia. They would love it. They would love it. And then let's leave them alone. Get them out of our political system. Get them out of our financial system. And we move on. Because let's be honest, the experiment failed. Right? We tried to be diverse. We tried to include them in everything. This country gave them everything, and they didn't even have to earn it. They went to college and they couldn't read. They make millions of dollars just bouncing a ball or running with a ball or, beating the shit out of each other in a boxing ring. They make millions, and we idolize them. We idolize them. We put them. We allow them to entertain us in movies and music, and they're not even good at it. I mean, let's be honest. Black music sucks. But because we're all afraid to say it, this hip hop shit, it's ingenious. Right? We got this the Super Bowl thing. Everybody's going crazy over this guy who's going to be in the Super Bowl halftime show. I was listening to Bad Bunny. I was listening to some of his stuff. It's absolute garbage. Who the fuck would spend money on that shit? I mean, who would? So listen, and the experiment that I want to do is, let's try an experiment. White people, they need to go out and buy the milk and don't come back. And let's see if black people need us or not. I don't think they do. I don't think black people need us at all. I think we should leave them on their own. We tried. Listen, we love you. But it's time to peace out. It's time to go. You can go back and you can study your own languages and your own religions, and you can season your food like you want, and you can listen to your music and do all that good stuff. But not with white people, not anymore. Now, of course, that's an outrageous thing to say, and I'm going to be labeled as racist and this and blah, blah, separatist and nationalist and all that. But Hotep over here he said it before me. He doesn't want white people around him at all. He wants white people to leave black people alone. As a matter of fact, he says that black people should be violent with white people if they try to engage with them. So let's not engage with them. Let's leave them alone. I agree with Hotep. White people, it's time to go and buy the milk. All right, there's my 2 cents. Thanks again for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. Be careful out there, my friends. You see, I just showed you. That's a maniac. That's one of Satan's little lambs. That's a demonic man right there. Satan is always busy, and he's busy with guys like that. Be a man, have a backbone, because masculinity and common sense are worth standing up for. And remember, if it ends in an ism, it's a mental disorder. We'll see you.